for some reason he got a tremble over that. Then I caught him giving me all these ugly black looks as if he was itching to knife me in the back. I guessed it had something to do with Gertrude, but I didn't know what. Well, this one day we was trying to work our way through a dripping black. Now, I don't really know how to begin something like this. Probably not the best start already, but it ain't like I'm going to be selling this to someone or trying to get on some bestseller list. No, definitely not. This is just my thing. I just need somewhere to vent, somewhere to express my thoughts. That's healthy, right? That's what they say anyway. Write a diary. Or a journal. I guess a journal is a guy's version of a diary. Same thing, though. Now, it's lonely being an innkeeper. I run this place with my wife Nancy, who I love dearly, and we've had it for a long time now. And for the most part, we've figured it out. We have our system down. We're happy. We have our disagreements like most couples. Maybe the nature of our arguments is unique, very unique, but we usually resolve them quick and are back to our normal selves in no time. Lately, though, Nancy's been acting different. It's what prompted me to start writing this, I suppose. Partially so I could have a place to get my thoughts out, and also partly as a record of sorts. It's too much to get into at this exact moment, so I'll save the details for a different entry. We got a customer that I gotta tend to. Occurs to me that I don't know how to end one of these entries either, so I'll just say goodbye for now. So my last entry I wrote a little about my wife, how she's been acting. Different, that is. Nothing crazy, mind you, just different. Kinda sad-like. She broods a little. I catch her staring off into space sometimes when we're talking, like she's somewhere else. And it ain't like I neglect her. Far from it. We spend loads of time together. We run this place together. We handle customers together. We cook together. We eat together. Well, hell, maybe that's the issue. Maybe she needs a little space. But we gotta be together. We gotta stick together. This business, it ain't small. It needs both of us to make it work. And we've done it this way for so many years. I just wonder why she's acting this way now. Just makes me confused that I can't quite put my finger on what it is. Maybe if we were busier. Motel has been a little slow recently. They opened up a new highway out of state, and within a month it cut traffic in half, and it's only gotten smaller and smaller since then. Less people driving the road, the less customers, and in some ways, the less people driving the road out here is great. But in terms of the business side, you can't run a motel with 2 guests a week. Just can't do it. So maybe that's it. Maybe she's worried the business is in danger and we can't keep doing what we're doing. But whatever the case, I gotta figure it out soon, otherwise we'll really be in trouble. Today was a little better with Nance. She was in a better mood, that is. We took care of a customer, spent some time together, and cooked dinner. Her spirit seemed up. It was a nice day. It actually reminded me of the first time that I met Nancy. It was at a bar, funny enough. Seems like ages ago now. I was young and reckless, but confident enough. I saw her sitting there and I walked right over and I asked if I could buy her a drink. And I guess she was as reckless as I, 'cause she said yes. We talked for what seemed like hours. We got along great. We were both crazy and witty and impulsive. We clicked right away. But later that evening, some drunk got it in his head that he wanted a chance to talk to Nancy. He tried pushing me aside, even grabbed her arm. He tried pulling her outside away from me. She smacked him with her purse. But he wouldn't let off, and I just saw red. I beat that man I beat him good. I was worried that Nancy'd be displeased with how I was, but she actually thought that it was mighty chivalrous of me to defend her honor like that. She liked it a lot, and we was thick as thieves ever since. I reminded her of that today, that night, and she smiled. Our first big event together, the night we met. I just don't want to lose her. Lost a customer today. That really made Nancy sad. We can't afford to be losing customers now, times as they are. Seemed like a nice enough fellow. Young, probably in his 20s. Driving cross country, trying to make it across state lines before morning. He seemed tired. Almost like he was running from something, but he was a nice enough kid. Didn't strike me as a criminal or anything like that. So we gave him the special room and a good rate and everything, and well, let me tell you, it wasn't even an hour before he flew out of that room like a bat out of hell and into his car. We were on his way to check up on him, too. Nancy took it hard. "We're losing it," she said. "We're losing our touch." She was almost in tears. It's hard for me to see my wife that way. I told her we ain't losing it. We've been doing this for years. It was just an unusual situation is all. We'll be all right. Couldn't tell if I was trying to convince her or myself. But regardless, I can't let her down. We gotta be better. We gotta improve. I'm gonna end this entry here. Now's the time for thinking, not writing. I have been inspired. I don't know what came over me, but I'm going to make some improvements to this place, for me and Nance. What happened the other day ain't never going to happen again. We're better than that. For one thing, I'm thinking we could cut down on waste and maximize profits by creating a little dining area for the customers. It's what all the modern hotels and motels are doing nowadays, and doing something like that would be perfect for us, seeing as we already have the stock for it. That's just a preview though. Got plenty more ideas. Don't got time to write it all down, but like I said, I just been inspired. I'm going to start on these improvements as soon as I'm able. I think we're going to be okay. Nance has been much better lately. We're working together great, laughing and joking like we used to. Business is finally going smooth, customers are consistent. A lot of it, honestly, can be narrowed down to the improvements I made, like I said in the last entry. Now, I ain't trying to brag, but since I made those improvements, no customer ran out on us since. Everything worked out just the way it was supposed to. We had a couple check in, a young couple. They look sweet as can be, so we gave them the special suite. Wanted to see if they would have any comments about the improvements I made. And everything worked like a charm. We helped them with their bags, led them into the room. We closed the door behind them, and it locked from the outside, just as intended. I don't think they noticed at first, but I knew they soon would. From the adjacent room, I opened the vents into the special suite and began pumping our gas into the room. This new ventilation system was one of the newest additions. The way we used to do it seems so barbaric compared to this. Gas knocks them out nice and easy. Nance and I waited a few minutes excitedly, like the excitement that you have right before Christmas Eve. We let the gas do its work. We put on our gas masks and entered the suite. The two were lying on the floor, barely opened up their suitcases. We worked together, getting them ready. We moved their suitcases and personal items downstairs to the furnace to be burned. We put the couple into our large laundry cart so we could move them from the suite down to the operating theater. The soundproofed operating room is where we had some real fun. We didn't treat everyone who made it down here the same way. We often tried to change it up, make it interesting. Nowadays, though, we found a much better use for our special lucky customers. Started up the power tools. The electric handsaw made a satisfying growl as it sprang to life. Its noise seemed to wake our guests. Once they came to and realized what was going on, they looked up at us in fear, screaming, crying, begging for their lives, snot and tears rolling down their faces. They pleaded. It was my favorite part. And looking over at Nance, well, I could tell it was her favorite part too. Chopping them up was the most efficient way of doing it, I found. We used to kill them and bury them whole, but it just takes up so much space, so much time, more likelihood of something being found. So now we saw them up live, like prime cuts of steak. They say you can taste the fear in the meat. Speaking of which, it looks like after today we'd have some more stock for the dining area. As the saw broke their flesh and their screams intensified into that beautiful howl, blood sprayed this way and that like red confetti, I looked over at my wife. She smiled at me. She smiled like the first day we met, the day I killed that guy in the alley behind the bar. We never went back since. Yeah, I think we'll be okay. But there was something about him that I didn't trust. He was kind of secretive, kept mostly to himself. Now one day somebody told him that I worked on the old Gertrude. For some reason he got a tremble over that. Then I caught him giving me all these ugly black looks as if he was itching to knife me in the back. I guessed it had something to do with Gertrude, but I didn't know what. Well, this one day we was trying to work our way through a dripping black fog. You scarcely know we had all the lights on, and it was dead calm. There wasn't a breath of fresh air. The ship just